Click the link in the description for your free Amsoil catalog. Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to some of our friends. The Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Search for them on Facebook. Central Minnesota Pond Racing. Search for them on Facebook. The historic Lancaster Motel for the ultimate Eastern trail riding adventure. Crane's Snowmobile Museum at 172 Main Street in Lancaster, New Hampshire. The Vintage Snowmobile Club of America Quarterly Magazine. The Bridge Street Garage Racing Team, the house racing team of the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast. The New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum at Bear Brook State Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire. And lastly, if you decide to advertise with the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast, this could be your advertising message. Well, good evening and welcome to the podcast. I'm really glad you're here tonight. I have a robust lineup of vintage snowmobile entertainment on tap for you tonight. But before we get into all of that, I want to make sure that everything is working properly. So if you can see my face and hear my voice, I'm going to ask you to leave a comment. Let me know where you're viewing this from and whether you are a first-time viewer or a regular viewer. Now, to our first-time viewers who are stopping by tonight to check us out, I hope you have a good time with us tonight and decide to join us here each and every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This podcast simulcasts to 8 different places across Facebook and YouTube. So wherever you're viewing this, just circle back in 1 week's time and we'll be here waiting for you. Also, to our regular viewers who are here week after week after week and season after season after season, you guys are the ones that make this possible, and we very, very much appreciate it. We have comments aplenty coming in. Let's take a look here. Roger Cormier says, hello to everyone, regular viewer from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Says they're just getting some snow tonight. A winter storm is just starting. Wishing everyone with vintage sleds to get out and hope we get some snow as well. And I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm glad you're finally getting some snow out there. And thank you for joining us, Roger. John Spranger Jr., he's been with us since the very beginning. He's saying hello from Eland, Wisconsin. Dave Lowry from Alberta, Canada is in the house tonight. How you doing, Dave? Brian Van Heverbeek, regular viewer, he says we're coming in loud and clear from Mount Bridges, Ontario. We've got someone on Facebook saying, hello, Mike. We've got our regular and dear friend, David from Alaska Railroad, saying we're loud and clear. Also someone from Epping, New Hampshire. Mike McAlargy is here from Caseville, Michigan. And I've got some more coming in, but I don't want to keep our guests waiting any longer. So I'll bring them on and I'll continue to pop the comments on the screen as we go. So let me just switch screens here, start bringing our friends on. We have some friends on tonight. We have our regular Rob Hilditch and Valdi Stefanson. How are you gentlemen doing tonight?
Thank you for having me.
Well, yes, thanks for coming on. And how are you doing, Rob?
Good, Mike, yourself?
Very well. Cool deal. So we've got an excellent show on tap tonight. Now, Valdi has shared some video footage with us. In fact, I'll pop the graphic on the screen here. It's some footage of a 68 Yamaha snowmobile. You want to set this clip up for us, Valdi, as far as what we're about to look at?
Yes, I collect all different brands, but I heard about a first-year Yamaha. It was in northern Saskatchewan. I learned that there was about 270 that were imported into North America. Half of them went to Canada. So I felt my chances were better finding one in Canada. And luckily, this fellow had a small engine repair shop. It was up in his mezzanine. And I asked him, and one day he called and says, "I'm closing my shop." So it was for sale. And so anyway, it needed a complete restoration. And it turned out very well, very well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let me cue that up. And let's take a look at that Yamaha. Here it is right here.
It's March, kind of the end of our snow season. Not the best snow conditions, but I thought I'd take this thing out for a drive and show everybody. This is a first-year Yamaha. It's model numbered SL350. It's year 1968. Now, Yamaha was into the power sports business. Certainly by then they were making motorcycles of some significance. And of course, corporately, they said, listen, this snowmobiling deal is getting so big, we got to get into it. And so they made a few of these 1968 models, styling a little conservative, but nonetheless, they released them into distribution into America and in Canada. And they made about 270. They imported 270 of these things. We think there's about 25 left that have made it. This one came out of northern Saskatchewan, and I was so proud to get it, and it had been a bucket list dream of mine, and I had it restored. As you saw, it drives just great. So let's take a look at some of the features of this sled here. I want to talk about well, specifically the motor. Let's take a look at this. This is a 2-cylinder, 350 cc's. This machine has the R1 motorcycle engine in it. If you do your homework, or as old as I am, you remember that Yamaha was making 2-stroke bikes, road bikes at the time, and the R1 was noteworthy. I'll just say that. So they kind of borrowed that engine and put it into here. It is rated at about 23 horsepower. The carburetor is Makuni. I think this is probably, for 1968, the first Mikuni carburetors on a production snowmobile. The funny thing about this bad boy is that it is not oil injected. You recall that Yamaha, was touting oil injection forever. Well, not their first year. The 1968, you mix gas and oil. Speaking of that, here is the gas tank, and I just wanted you to understand that this is probably the only two-stroke Yamaha snowmobile that ended up when you have to add oil to the gas. This thing is not necessarily the barn burner, but I think it has historic significance, and I'm proud to have had it restored, take it to shows, and show off this first year effort. For the Yamaha guys, many of them haven't really seen a first year Yamaha, let alone a restored one. So I wanted to share that with you today, and thank you for listening.
Cool deal. Yeah, thank you so much, Valdi, for that video. That was amazing. Cool deal. What are your thoughts on that, Rob? What do you think?
Oh, I've never seen one before, and I thought every Yamaha was oil injected. Yeah,
It's true, me too.
Every day.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
For sure.
what kind of shape was it in when you got it?
Not bad. It was all beat up. The drivers, of course. That was the biggest challenge on that was axle and drivers. In Manitoba, the fields, or in Saskatchewan, you're just driving on plowed fields in the wintertime, and it took a few big hits. I sense that. But other than that, pretty standard stuff. The plastics were hard. The little toolbox underneath those carburetors, impossible. I've seen ripped up ones. They want $500 for it. And so there was some odd, unique parts. I don't know if it's got the right original tail light. Bob Weaver went all the way to Japan on a trip that, he was a dealer, so they took him to Japan, the Yamaha Corporation. And he said that he went around to motorcycle dealers to try to find the correct tail light for his 1968 project and couldn't find one.
Wow.
So it's a lookalike. So that's my admission.
Sure. Well, it came off great, and I love that hideaway gas tank under the seat back.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah, I always like the idea of having a gas tank in the back for extra weight.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it gives much better traction. Cool deal. So
Just made
before we
it
get
pick it up when you got it stuck.
True. Like the Cat Panthers, it gave it a lot of excellent traction, but if you got that thing stuck, there's a whole lot of swearing involved before you get it unstuck. For sure. Now, before we get on to item number 2, some announcements. We do have some more comments coming in. Let me find my place here, and we'll go over them real quick. We've got our friend Mark Gasso, who's here, regular viewer from Naples, New York. We've got Don Weaver, first-time viewer from Hudson Falls. Thank you for coming on, Don. I hope you have a good time with us tonight. We're here every Thursday night. We'll be waiting for you next week. Also, our good friend Jim Layton, he's been on the podcast many times. He says we're sounding good, and he and I were emailing today. We're probably going to have Jim on sometime in the near future for some show and tell. He's always got great show and tell sleds for us, and we're looking forward to see what he's got for us this time. David from Alaska Railroad, say hello to Rob and Valdi. Absolutely. And Josh Leverker says hello. He's been on the podcast. He's a good friend. Reese Fleury, regular viewer from Tupper Lake, New York. Mike McAlargy says the Yamaha. He's talking to Valdi here. He says that Yamaha is a beauty. It sounds good too. Cool deal. And Jeff Wesner says Pitt is in the house. Do talk and snowtracks.com. So do be sure and search for snowtracks.com after the podcast, of course. But that sounds like a really cool website. Corey Rogers, first-time viewer. Thank you for popping in. We appreciate it. Hope you'll join us here every Thursday night. Nelson Peterson from Redfield, Maine. Thank you for joining us. And Kurt Kruger from Wisconsin. Oh, and then we've got Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. I wonder if that is Armand. I'm having a senior moment here. Armand Buteau. I wonder if that's Armand Buteau. He's a good friend from Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. Anyway, so let's get into the announcements. If you're wanting to know our place, we are on item number 2, and this is a chance for Rob to talk to us about Amsoil. And I'm going to put you full screen, Rob. Please talk to us.
Good afternoon, folks. You know, Amsoil is 100% synthetic oil, and we always have a great buy for everybody with Amsoil. The special this time is if you're a preferred customer, you can get it at the best possible discount, order directly from Amsoil, order $100 worth, it ships right to your house. But this week and next week, anybody who orders $100 worth, they're going to send you a free Amsoil hat. So it's something extra for ordering Amsoil products. I think it may be 150, isn't it? What is it? Yeah, $150
$150,
for us. Yep, they're going to throw in the hat for you. And by getting hold of Mike, you can get the best possible discount by becoming a preferred customer. Save 25% on the products, and $100 worth ship right to your house on your birthday. They send you a $5 gift card. When you go to renew, another $5 gift card. So for $10, you get to save 25% on all the products you get to buy. And Amsoil, if you want a catalog on what products Amsoil has available, just get a hold of Mike or click the link down below, and you'll get a catalog sent right to you. And in it would be the preferred customer and retail price. But for the next 2 weeks, they're going to throw in the free hat for anybody who orders $150 worth or more. So if you want to order some product, might as well order it now and get the free hat.
Absolutely. That's a cool looking hat too. Definitely. Well, cool. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Rob. And like Rob said, links in the description for everything he talked about, the preferred customer program, the free catalog, anything you need, there are links in the description. And we thank you so much for doing that. In the interest of full disclosure, I'm signed up under Rob as an Amsoil dealer. So when you purchase through my link in the description, Rob and I both benefit, and the Amsoil commissions are one of the ways that I help to finance this podcast. So I thank you in advance for doing that. Really appreciate that. One other announcement I have to make. This is an email that came in last week. If you watched last week, we had 3 of the top Eastern lady racers from the 70s on. And I've got to get up close to the screen here to read this. I'm going to read this to you. It says, "My name is Mike Dodig. I'd like to take a minute and tell you how much I enjoyed your recent podcast featuring the woman racers from the 70s. I spent a good bit of my youth at tracks all over the Northeast watching snowmobile racing. Those days produced some of my best childhood memories. It was a precious time that involved the entire family. Your recent show with Ms. Rinaldi, Ms. Baker, and Ms. Wachter really touched me because I remember firsthand hearing each of those names as I watched my mom compete. My mother's name was Irene Dodig. She was from Saugerties, New York, and competed with a fair amount of success in the early 70s. She got her start on rups and ski-doos, but became primarily a chaparral rider in stock classes. She also spent some time racing mod classes as a bit of a mercenary for other sled owners. I remember her racing ski-doos, snow jets, and rups in mod classes. Anyway, it really warmed my heart listening to the ladies talk about those golden days of racing. Unfortunately, I missed the live show and would certainly have sent a message asking them if they had remembered racing against my mother. Sadly, my mother, Irene, passed away in 2021 after a long bout with Alzheimer's. She and my dad would have loved this conversation. Thanks so much for the stroll down memory lane with the show, Mike Dodig." And yeah, thank you for that wonderful email, Mike. We really appreciate it. I had a chance to share it with the lady racers who were on last week, and Diane does remember racing with your mother. So that's wonderful news.
That's a nice letter, Mike.
For sure. In fact, I have to say I've gotten some nice emails and comments over the years, but that's going to be the best one yet. Yeah. And I shared that with the lady racers, and they loved it as well. They really
maybe he can send out a picture of his mother's race.
Yes. Good thinking. Good thinking. Yes, Mike, if you're viewing this, any kind of images or anything that you're able to share with us, we would love to share that here on the podcast. Absolutely. Now, we do have a comment coming in, and we're going to get into the next item here. Pardon me. We've got Bob Jordan from Epping, New Hampshire, first-time viewer. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's pull up the menu here. We are on item number 3. Last fall, I went to a vintage snowmobile show in Bethlehem, New Hampshire, and I saw some good friends of mine over there, Doug Gurnee and Loren Kandzior, and they talked up their sleds. Let me pull up that footage here, and we'll take a look.
Just pretty much the way you see it here. Brought it home and started fiddling around with things and discovered that it was built to show, not to go. So a lot of the stuff that's on there, you got the correct tether switch. When I tugged on that, the wire fell out.
Oh, really?
And it's not connected. It's just down in here. He cut it off. The older, they were hardwired in. They cut it off at the harness, right? So you're gonna have to open the harness, figure out which wire goes where, put this one in, solder it, and all that stuff. And that's fine. That's fine. But this stuff, all stuff needs to be done before I can get it to run. One ignition coil doesn't fire. This one does. This one does not.
I did half of that one. I was half done.
So
That one there, that was a project.
some tinkering, which is
Sure. It sure looks
what I
good,
was
though.
looking for anyway. So
Yeah, because you've done this in the past with other Ski-Doos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a project.
Worked out all the bugs and
Put the correct belt on it, get everything adjusted.
yeah. You feel like putting the hood on?
I can put the hood on.
I got a 68.
Because this is one sweet looking sled with a hood on.
Sitting out back.
Of course, the engine's beautiful too.
I think you fall on the hood.
Yeah.
I don't ever have to get into it. Yeah. Welded bumper, it's been used. Most of them were.
Something there.
Plastic gas can.
That's the look.
Hangers.
I don't know they're going to be opposed in it.
Brake caliper just because of where it's located.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the length. They sound good.
Just like that.
Yeah, that's the money shot right there. That's the money shot. That's the iconic look everyone remembers.
If I really want to run it, ride it, see how it goes.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And you just acquired this recently, right?
Yeah, I got it at the show over in Turin, New York. At used to be Boonville.
Yeah.
I got it at that show. There was one there I went to look at. It was advertised. It was a fair amount of money for what it was, but it was a wreck.
Yeah.
It was missing a lot of stuff. Loren found this one sitting in the back of a guy's trailer. They unloaded some other stuff and had it for sale, so I'm hanging on the back of it.
Nice.
Okay.
Sure. And I'm going to switch places with you for a different view, a different angle. Yeah, that's it right there.
Funny, the guy who owned it, the reaction when I agreed to buy it was he was stunned.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Loren, did you want to get in and talk up yours? We'll get the two of you in the same video.
1974 Mercury Snow Twister. It was Mercury's first year of racing. It was a 400 per year. It was raced in Stock D. They did really well in Stock D class with it. I bought it probably 6 years ago. It had a 75 cal on it, and I replaced all the glass with the correct glass. And I just had the motor rebuilt, had the crankshaft on that motor. Motor is pretty fresh. It's got new pistons. Pretty well cleaned up, nice.
Yeah, I'm going to get on the other side too for a look at the motor. Now, you had this running a few minutes ago. Do you feel like getting her started again? Or? Very cool. Well, cool. Thank you, Loren. And I'm going to get a shot of this just for the wind, of course. Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's some good stuff right there.
Lost the volume.
Yes, my apologies. I shut my mic off during the video because if any noises I make will come on, and then of course I forget to turn the mic off. But yeah, any thoughts on that? What we were just looking at there,
Oh, I
guys?
like that Skidoo.
Yes.
Yeah, they always look great on the track too.
Yeah, for sure.
Those 245s, they have sizzle, is the way I like to put it. Oh, that's a sexy looking machine.
It sure is. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and it's funny. I see those guys at a lot of the different shows. We've become pretty good friends, and they always have different sleds. And it's especially Doug, he does a lot of the work himself. He mostly has ski-doos, and a lot of them will have electrical issues, and he's really good at sorting that out. And that one still needed some sorting, but it sure looked great. Yeah. Now we've got some comments that have come in. Where were we here? Okay, we've got Jeff Wesner says the Mercury race team has their sleds at the Hall of Fame in St. Germain, Wisconsin. August 19th, 2023, there's going to be a racers reunion of 50 years of Twister. Good to know. Good to know. If you happen to go to that, Jeff, and you're there with a cell phone, just walk around like this with your camera, hold it horizontal like that for a wide shot. If you're able to get some footage for us, we would love to share it here on the podcast for everyone to enjoy. Just something to think about. If you're not comfortable doing that, obviously we understand. But if you are comfortable doing it, we would love to see some footage from that. Also, our good friend Josh Leverker says he remembers that sled from the Turin show. Nice piece. He's talking about the 245. He said they're going to have the show again in September, Labor Day weekend, Turin, New York. Absolutely. And then Jeff Wesner says the Mercury team is Tripar of Cedarburg, Wisconsin. David from Alaska Railroad says both of those sleds are golden. Absolutely. Oh, and our good friend Reese Fleury says hello to Valdi. Cool deal. Cool deal. Any final thoughts on what we just looked at before we move forward? Or?
I like the backdrop, that beautiful valley with the leaves. Oh, that was gorgeous.
Yeah, the foliage certainly cooperated that day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's see. We are on item number 4. Over the summer, this is where Valdi and I met in June at the VSCA Snowmobile show in Old Forge, New York. I was there getting footage, and I'm going to queue up some footage that I got from that weekend. I probably got 5 or 6 hours of footage. I get so much footage, but I've got maybe a 5-minute clip here. Let's take a look. Got some beautiful roughs under this tent. Now, my friend Ray Parento, I heard, is coming. I haven't spoken to him, but a mutual friend of ours said he's coming. I don't see any of his roughs, but he's got some beautiful roughs. I don't know if they would be under this tent or maybe another tent, but I hope to run into him here. Some early Scorpions. Oh, here we go. Doug Huggard says, noise is awesome. Great picks, too. Yeah, it's very noisy. I'm getting further and further from that generator, so hopefully the audio will improve as we go. Some beautiful Scorpions. Wow, look at this. Our neighbors had one of these when I was a kid. I used to go riding on it. I remember seeing these around.
They were just like walking down Main Street without us. Yeah. We were sitting in a bar and we're like, I'm like, just out for the day, I guess. They do it every time they've done that. And that's
Cool, yeah. So Skip Estes says it's looking good and he wishes he was here. I wish you were here too, because you would be enjoying this. This is one of 4 tents, and then there's some in a big building inside. And I just got here, so I haven't even, surveyed the entire landscape. There's probably even more than we're looking at. Now, the organizer, Ed Stab, was saying there were over 400 sleds registered today to be exhibited. All right, let's check out these Scorpions here. We'll get some Kawasaki's and Cats over there too. Oh, Dave Stroud is here. Good to know. Dave Stroud is a good old friend of mine. I see across the way here he's got some sleds here. We'll be looking at those in a minute. Looking at some Scorpions now. Look at this. Nelson Racing. 440 TK, 1980. She's a beaut. Another racing. Yeah, thank you so much to Doug and Skip for making comments. I appreciate that. And letting me know how this is all looking. Now we've got some clothing, some Scorpion clothing. Did I just unplug myself? No. I've got a cord plugged into an external battery just so I don't drain the battery on this cell phone. Yeah, we've got some Scorpion clothing. More Scorpion sleds. Got a Scorpion story of actual Scorpions. Years ago I was living in the Phoenix area, and I guess in the new housing developments they're disrupting the habitat of the Scorpions, so they end up in the new houses, beautiful new houses, just loaded with Scorpions. So one night I was at a party in one of these new houses. I was in the bathroom taking a leak, and across the toilet tank crawled a big old Scorpion. So I grabbed a wad of toilet paper and killed it, flushed it. But anyway, seeing all these Scorpions made me think of my Scorpion story.
But yeah, let's continue on the way here. Cool. So Jeff Wesner says snowtracks.com online. I will have to check that out. David Tibbett says nice, clear video. Sound is clear also. Thank you so much, guys, for the feedback. We really appreciate it. So is this all your Scorpion stuff, all the clothing and stuff? Yep. Cool. We're live on Facebook. Do you feel like talking it out?
Go for it, Eric. I don't talk much.
No? Okay. Well, that's all right.
Bought 36 sleds here and 2 mopeds. 35. All Scorpion. 35, sorry. I don't know. We're from Elwood, New York.
Elwood, New York.
Yep.
How far is that from here?
4.5 hours.
4.5, yeah.
So, the way we came, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we've got...
How you doing? Go ahead.
My grandfather was a Scorpion dealer, and that's why we got into it, and just like to keep it going.
Keeping it alive. Wonderful. That's cool. Very cool. Very cool. Let me give you these. One for him and one for you. I do a podcast on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, cool.
But,
check it out.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Good meeting you guys.
Yeah, good to meet you.
Any sleds that any I should know about? Is
So that one there, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Hearth Honker.
Yes.
It was a triple cylinder. That sled's got it in it. Scorpion had a race series of snowmobiles in '71, and that was one of them. These are all, of course, '71 race sleds.
Yeah.
And then the Bubble Nose Metal Flake is a 340 race sled that my grandfather actually raced.
You raced that sled? That very sled? Yeah. Wonderful. That is cool. Yeah, I was lying at earlier.
And we've got an advertisement actually out of Snowgoer magazine in 1971. He was one of the top 3 dealers for Scorpion in 1970.
Yeah, wow. What was his name?
Lee Shuknek.
How do you spell it?
S-H, I have a card. S-H-U-K-N-E-C-H-T.
I'll look for that. I got a bunch of magazines from the 70s.
Yeah,
I'll look for
there
that.
might be more of that in there, right?
Sweet.
But they put that advertisement out. We blew it up to make it.
And this is it hanging here, you say?
Yeah.
I'll go up and look at that, yeah.
It talks about how each of the 3 dealers, how they did what they did in sales. And
So he was the top dealer in the region?
yeah, I would say, because it was New York, Michigan, and I think the other one was Minnesota or Wisconsin.
Yeah. Sweet. So one of the top dealers in the country, it sounds like. Yeah, wonderful.
Scorpion, yeah.
Good, good.
Something neat.
Well, cool. Well, yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'll go take a look at that sign. So let's take a look at this here. So his grandfather was one of the top Scorpion dealers. And this is right out of one of the magazines in '71, I think. And yeah, so his grandfather was the guy in the upper left.
There you go.
That is very, very cool. Very cool. And he raced this actual sled, by the way. His grandfather raced this actual sled. One of the top Scorpion dealers in the country used to race this sled. Very cool. We learned something new today. Let's get a closer look at this. And I've got a few more over here. Hi, dog. How you doing, baby? Beautiful dog. How are you? Yeah, this is a whip, a 78 whip. Scorpion Brute, yeah. 75. 440 triple. I like the snaps on the hood there. All right, so this was tent number 3. Where it says on the tent. Oh, here we go. Yeah. This is tent number 3. We were just under tent number 4.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, how's that for some Scorpions, gentlemen?
That's a big show, Mike. 400 snowmobiles at it.
Yeah.
What's the history on Scorpion? Who was the owner of the company? Like, I don't recall
Scorpion
any Scorpion dealerships.
Scorpion is a Minnesota company. Crosby in the Iron Range, we call it the Iron Range, and 3 gentlemen got together. One was a fiberglass specialist. The other one was into air sleds, and they did very well. That Scorpion company lasted a long time.
Yeah.
And they were never a leader, not one of the top 3, but they had a presence. And,
sure.
Chuck Connors was their advertising pitchman in the middle 70s. I love those commercials.
Now, what was the commercial? I think something about move over, skidoo, get out of the way, cat, scorpion stingers coming through. Do you remember that?
Sure. And their Metal Flake era in the mid 70s.
Boy,
Boy,
yeah,
the
flake on those sleds was beautiful.
All sharp looking machines and so many different designs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Their first year, it was all fiberglass, the hood, and the tunnel were one piece of fiberglass. You can imagine how brittle that was. Very impractical, but I mean, they're coveted, those first-year machines.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're right. With all that fiberglass, if you hit something hard, you're really in trouble. Yeah, for sure. Any more comments on this before we move forward? Or
our antique club, I was, with the Antique Snowmobile Club of America, we're having our summer show at Crosby, Minnesota. We're going to go to see the old factories and their test site, and it's all overgrown now. But my point is that there's still a legacy. There's an annual show there in this Crosby community, and boy, they come out of the woodwork, those Scorpions.
Yeah, that would be amazing. If you plan to go to that, I'd love if you could get some footage that we could share on the podcast.
Yeah, I promise that.
That would be amazing, for sure. Now we've got some comments that have come in. Let's see here. We've got James Springer says, "Nice Ski-Doo, looks brand new." I think he's talking about that 245. And then David from Alaska Railroad says, "They always found it odd that a snowmobile company would name their sled after a hot desert animal. Cool sleds, though." That is a good point. For sure.
Maybe they had quite a sting.
Yeah, maybe that was it. They were out to sting the competition. Maybe that was it. For sure. And let's see. We've got someone on Facebook saying hello to Valdi. He lives in Sudbury, Ontario. Several years ago, he sold you his Eaton department store Snow Track Snowmobile. Wants to know if you still own it. It was a rare machine.
Well, I'm proud to say that I have a video, not unlike the one you've just seen, of that machine. So we'll put that up next time.
Yeah, for sure. We should totally do that.
You have it running?
Yeah.
Good.
Sweet. Yeah, we'll look forward to that on a future episode. Now we're on item number 5, and this is another video that Valdi has shared with us. It's footage of a Scorpion he has, since we're on a Scorpion theme here. Did you want to talk this up before we roll the clip?
All right. Yes, it's a 1971 Super Stinger. Again, going back to the the Metal Flake era. This one happens to have a Starburst Sachs engine in it. It's not that Hearth honker that you saw at Old Forge, but it shows well, looks great.
Wonderful. Well, let's take a look.
Hey, Vintage Snowmobile fans. Beautiful day. It's Christmas 2021. And I thought I'd take this bad boy out for a drive and show you a real sharp looking sled. This is a 1971 Scorpion Super Stinger. It's known for its bright red metal flake hood. And let me show you some of the features of the sled. Come on in, and let's take a look at this again. Sharp features include this this metal flake hood. That's a reproduction hood. Beautiful. Look at this seat. This is embossed. Scorpion had this logo that they embossed in, and that their name here. Now this machine also has this engine. This is a Sachs engine 440R, and I love it because of the beautiful fins on the head. Now this is what they call a starburst, and Sachs had this beautiful top to their engine that I think is quite attractive. Another thing to notice on this sled is the dual exhaust, and a bit noisy, but boy oh boy, it draws attention. It's fun to drive. This has the correct tachometer and speedometer, now showing 1,450 miles. So this is an original sled. It's tagged, it's correct, and it was sourced actually in Saskatchewan, and fully documented. In fact, this engine was completely rebuilt by a professional shop. So we're happy to have it on the snow And I think it's, like I said, a real cute looking sled. Let's take a little walk around it. And the fortunate part was that this bumper and this handlebar were available NOS, meaning that was an original factory part. Somebody had purchased the inventory from Scorpion when they went down. And so that was a fun part of this restoration, was to find the correct chrome in brand new condition. So let's continue on down around the sled here. You can buy these reproduction decals, and the skis are aluminum on this one. So we think it looks good in the sunshine. And these machines, this particular year, came with a suspension. You could either get a bogey wheel suspension or a slide suspension. Now remember, in the era, 71 now, manufacturers were going to the slides, realizing that was a better setup. Quite frankly, today all machines have slides. And but the problem was that Scorpion designed this slide system such that the metal runners touched and rubbed against the rubber track. What I'm saying is there was no Hyfax. And that was a design flaw, to be very frank with you. When this machine was purchased, it had some ugly scars right down the two sides of the inner track. And the fix, we realized, was to add bogey wheels. Come on around to this side here, and I'll flip this guy over, and you can see that detail. Okay, now, so you can see that here in the suspension that there are wheels that were added. And what they're doing is trying to keep that rail about 1/8 of an inch above the rubber track. And that'll save the track. So it may not be exactly correct for this machine, but sure adds to the durability, rideability of this machine. So this is a 1971 Super Stinger with a 440 Sachs R engine, and I just thought we'd give it a little bit of exercise today. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Very nice, Valdi. That's a beautiful sled.
Good looking snowmobile. Did it come factory with Stinger pipes on it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, noise regulations weren't what they were, in a few more years. Of course, you couldn't get away with that.
Sure. Yeah. That started, what, 73 or so?
Sure. I have a 1970 a Polaris TX, the 800 motor with the megaphones that go straight down.
Yep.
Sure.
And it's the noisiest thing in the world. I've been stopped at shows saying, you can't do that. And I said, oh, no, this is stock, which it was.
Wow.
Still obnoxious.
That's amazing.
Anyway, I can't wait for snow so we can do more of these videos in my yard.
Oh, we've got to. Absolutely. And one of the things I noticed too, one of the things that sled had in common with the previous video that we looked at, you remember his grandfather's sled that he used to race? The seat on that sled had the same exact embossed pattern on it that yours did.
Yeah, a
That
friend
was
of
really
mine, went to paint, took a lot of effort, but got the embossing correct, and now reproduces those seat covers. Oh, that was a find.
That's amazing. Yeah, that is very cool. Very cool. We've got some more comments coming in. Let's see here. Let me find my place. Don Scofich says his friend has one of those in mint condition. Very cool. Roger Cormier says, wow, awesome gathering of scorpions. Fantastic show tonight. Yes. Well, thank you so much. Don Scofich says something about the Hearth pull start handle. Yeah. And then someone on Facebook saying, looking forward to seeing the video on the snow track. Dan Scofich, I should say. I go to the Scorpion homecoming every year in Crosby, Minnesota, that Valdi was talking about, where they were originally made. Jeff Wesner says, nice. John Spranger Jr. says he can smell the race gas. Yeah, for sure. And then David from Alaska Railroad says, you got to love those carbs right next to your jacket, spitting gas all over you. He said his dad kicked him out of the house many times for stinking like gas. I don't know about you, but that was one of the best parts of snowmobiling back in the day, is coming home smelling like two-stroke. That was an amazing smell. I'm sure it's not for everyone, but I think if you're into snowmobiles, I enjoyed it.
How many Scorpions do you expect at the event next year?
Well, they have a feature, you know what I mean? With 14 years of manufacture, they just pick a different make or model and a year. And like I said, it's on the ice. There's also a fishing contest. It's a community winter festival. It is fun. Yeah. Our show is going to be in the summertime. The Harrison family, Dick Harrison was one of the three founders, have a beautiful private museum and a big yard in the background. We're going to have our festivities there, camping and motorhomes, etc. We're going to have some fun.
Yeah, for sure. And if ever you're feeling ambitious, Valdi, and feel like going to that museum to see if they'll let you do some video, I would love it if you could do some video there.
Yeah, I'm the kind of guy who's taking still pictures, and it's crazy with today's, technology. Video is just plain better.
Sure. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, any final thoughts on this before we move forward? Or
how many other snowmobiles do you have in your collection?
I've had as much as 65. I just retired, so I'm downsizing. I've sold about 20. So I've got a ways to go. I'm collecting newer stuff now. I've got a running Redline, Blade, HPO, stuff like that. I'm buying tribute sleds from the 90s and the 2000s. I'm trying to get ahead of the curve. I've sold all my antiques off. I'm trying to, like I said, move forward. I don't want to get into like cars, the Model Ts and the Model As, they're not worth nothing. And the same thing is going to happen with antique snowmobiles. Nobody's going to care anymore. So it's all vintage and what we call now the classic class. Classic class for us in Minnesota is 1986 through the year 2000. And our big show is called Midwest Ride-In. It's the largest of the vintage shows in the world. And this year we're featuring triple wars. Wow. You think that's going to be a bit noisy? You've got the 1970s, the free air stuff, and then of course the plethora of 1990 muscle sleds. Yeah, I'm expecting big crowds, and you'll see
and plenty of noise for sure. And going back to what you were saying about the Blade, I'm sure at some point that will be very collectible and very desirable. I'm sure that will only appreciate in value. Those are what, early 2000s, 2003, give or take?
2005. It was only 1 year. They only made 56 of them, and then they went down. As a matter of fact, there was 10 more. I think it was 9 or 10 in Alaska. We knew about them, but they were just in storage, cold storage, dirt floor storage, and everybody was scared to buy these things. Well, a fellow in Iowa, a friend of mine now, he spent on them and paid more for these non-running sleds. They're not even complete from the factory. He paid way more for each one of those than I paid for mine. Wow. You understand? That's the demand, and the price point is.
Yeah. And it'll only go north from here, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Sure.
So again, it's a case where I got in early enough, and lucked out.
Got in at the right time. Perfect.
Yeah, I'll do a video on that sled.
Yeah, I would love to see that. That'd be fun to share on here. Well, cool. So the next item on here is item number 6. Every year, the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame has an induction ceremony in Lancaster, New Hampshire. Last year, September 2021, the great Chip Elwood was inducted into the Eastern Snowmobile Hall of Fame. Let me cue that up, and we'll take a look at that induction.
All right, our next inductee, he goes by the name of Chip. Everybody knows him by that name. I don't know if I even knew his first name when he was racing, because it was always Chip Elwood. But we want Wayne Elwood to please come to the podium. Wayne Chip Elwood, inducted into the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame 2021. Chip's first race was in 1969 at a local event near his home on a borrowed 399 TNT. He won first place against more seasoned riders. At Malone, New York, Chip won 7 out of 8 races he entered, plus he took first place in the Liberty Redfield in Forestport, New York. In 1970, Elwood began racing for the Widowmakers team on Arctic Cat and driving the only cat in the 440 finals in 2 World Series, capturing 5th place in the first Snowmobile World Series in Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and 5th at the second Snowmobile World Series in Ironwood, Michigan. Chip was offered to race for the famous Team Abold in 1973. He took 2 50-lap Norwich Opens on his Mod 3 Arctic Cat in a field of Mod 4 sleds in 1973 and 74. Wayne Elwood helped provide Team Abold with its third top driver on our eastern track, solidifying this team's legendary status as the winningest independent snowmobile racing team in the history of the sport. He set a track speed record at the Weedsport Speedway that held until it was broken by a stock car in the mid-1990s. Elwood's Mod 4 Arctic Cat was widely regarded as one of the fastest, if not the fastest, 650 in the country. Chip won Super Mod 4 at the 1974 Northeastern Championship in Malone, New York on Saturday, but halfway through a heat race on Sunday, he stopped to help an injured driver, losing his chance to win the race, but he did receive the Sportsmanship Award for his quick actions. Chip was very seriously injured at Bangor, Maine halfway through the season of 1975, but he was so far ahead in points in both Mod 2 and Mod 4, he still received gold bib number 11 at the end of the season. A conservative estimate of over 300 first, second, third place wins can be easily tallied in the career of the very popular, flamboyant, and charismatic Mr. Wayne Chip Elwood. The ladies can tell you, I've heard stories that Wayne was very popular with the young ladies back then. Is that true, Wayne?
Rumor has it. A lot of rumors were true. Yeah, here we go. Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you. Well, there's so many people to thank that I don't even know where to start. My whole family's here, and my good friends from down home, and one of my very good friends, racing partner, so to speak, Jackie DeWitt's here, and hopefully she'll be up here one of these days. And,
I can guarantee it.
I was blessed to be able to have 2 mechanics, which both of them became personal, lifelong friends. They both were geniuses, and one was Everett Regal, and the other one was Bill Abald. I'll tell you, I couldn't have done it without him. And one of the most important people to thank is Bob Swartz. Bob kind of took me under his wing out there at Rhinelander. It's a long story why I had an Arctic Cat out there, but I did. And Bob was so good to me. He treated me like I was his own son. And I was always very appreciated for that. For any of you who don't know Bob or whatever, he was owned Nero, and was a distributor for all Arctic Cats for the whole East after a while, yeah. If I can get through this, I wouldn't have been able to have done this for my dad and my mother. My dad, I'll make this short, was a sophomore in high school, and we had this federal judge at that camp up our road, and back in those days, I think it was 1935, I think, you know, the only entertainment was to watch baseball, you know, so this federal judge used to go down and watch our high school team all the time, and our dads, and I guess Dad was pretty good, so he asked my grandfather if it was okay, and he had him try out for the Cincinnati Reds. And I remember Dad telling me that he pitched 2 innings, he struck out the first 2 batters, the next guy hit a home run. And he said he remembered how they flocked to him and knew they were going to sign him and everything. And then he pitched another inning, struck out 2 more, and the other guy grounded out. They wanted to sign my dad. Well, the judge says, well, you can't. And they said, well, why not? He's only a sophomore in high school. So he went on. He didn't leave. The judge was going to pay for him to go to college and everything because my grandfather didn't have any money, but he couldn't do that because my grandfather only had one arm. He lost it in a hunting accident before Dad was born. And so subsequently, Dad didn't go. And he played town team ball, and my mother had clippings home, striking out 17 batters, 15, 13, 12. I mean, he obviously must have been pretty darn good. And I just hope that being able to achieve this honor here today, and it is to me, that I hope Dad could live his dreams through me.
He is right now. He is right now, Chip. And you deserve to be here.
Yeah.
And the whole team is here.
Yeah.
And we're going to get photos.
No, do you just now? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. No.
Come on up.
Don't come up. I'm not. Just tell me. Good thing I exercise. Hey, I'm fine.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And thank you.
Hold up.
Look at each other, Chip. Look at your daughter. Look at her.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. All right, Chipper.
Thank you, Chip.
So yes, that was Chip Elwood, ladies and gentlemen, inducted into the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame last September 2021.
He won a lot of awards. Wow.
He sure did. Very decorated racer, for sure. And Team
How many
Team
years did he
Abold
race
was,
for?
I think through most of the 70s. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but he was part of Team Abold, which apparently was one of the winningest teams in the East. Yeah, and the whole team was there that day. Bill Abold, the team leader, also won an award when it was inducted that day. And I'll have to air that induction at some point as well. But yeah, very cool. So any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we wind down the program? Or?
I've got one. You know, Dan commented that you can still buy a new blade. Blade snowmobiles are made in Eveleth, Minnesota, again, an Iron Range city. And they are, in fact, still in business. And they are, making new snowmobiles. Dave and Gerard Karpik, I went to visit them. I'm going to do an article for Snowtech magazine. And there I saw 3 brand new snowmobiles that they were putting together. Now, they're putting modern engines in them. One had an 850 a Skidoo engine, one had a 4-stroke engine in it.
Wow.
So if I said that I have the last one, well, I meant the last sort of production year of theirs. Sure. But they still have a huge following. People who have blades, and this goes back to the very, very early 2000s, can bring them in and they'll rebuild them, and they have parts and everything. So it's an amazing story, and I will get mine on the snow, and we'll talk about that in a video.
Yeah, that'd be cool to put a story together on that to show that there's still something happening there.
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we have some comments coming in. Let's see. David from Alaska Railroad says, Valdi, do you have a 2000s Polaris XCR 800 from the 2000s?
Well, I will say no, but that's something right up my alley, quite frankly. I remember those sleds. And so what I try to do is to find some very nice original ones. That's sort of a passion of mine. And you know how you find them? Through networking. Some of my sleds, well, you heard the story about a fellow in Sudbury, Ontario. That's where you have to go. But if you have a network of friends and spread the word, it's going to happen. So I would like to talk about that XCR with anybody.
For sure. And then we've got a comment. This question's already been answered, but Dan Skovich was asking about buying a new blade, and it's very cool to hear that it's still possible to do that. Cool deal. Any final thoughts, Rob, before we wind it down? Or?
Great show and lots of good information.
Yeah, for sure. We learned a lot here tonight. And yeah, Valdi, thank you so much for coming on. We very much appreciate it. And hopefully this is the first of many appearances that we'll be making here on the podcast.
I'm impressed with the variety, the locations. I mean, the geography of those that are commenting is just plain amazing.
Yeah, all over North America.
That's the power of the internet.
For sure. And it seems to be growing as well, which we're very excited about.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Well, yeah, as always, as we wind down the program, we give the last word to AMSOIL. So let's do exactly that. And yes, thanks everyone for coming on, to Rob and to Valdi, and for all the viewers. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Have a good night.
Hello, everyone. This is Rob and Mike. How you doing today, Rob?
I'm doing good. Mike, yourself?
Very well. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Now, today, we're going to be talking about AMSOIL. And in a few moments, we're going to show you how you can get the deepest discounts, free shipping, and free gifts when you order your AMSOIL products through us. But first, I'm going to ask Rob to give you a quick description of what AMSOIL is and why you should consider using AMSOIL products in your motorized vehicles.
Thanks, Mike. AMSOIL is 100% synthetic oil. Everybody uses AMSOIL for a different reason. Some people like the benefits that AMSOIL is warranted for 25,000 miles or 1 year. The reason we can do that is because AMSOIL doesn't oxidize. It doesn't form the usual carbons, gums, sludges like petroleum oils do. That's why we can keep it in the engines longer. Petroleum oils never do wear out. They oxidize themselves. That's why they have to be changed at 3,000 kilometers. And AMSOIL likes the benefit that you only have to change the oil once a year. That saves some money. Some of the people like the benefit of AMSOIL is it's a slipperier type lube. By having a slipperier type lube, it cuts down friction and drag. By less friction and drag, engines run 20 to 50 degrees cooler, better gas mileage. Now, AMSOIL says 25% more protection than the industry requires is in the AMSOIL bottles. My average customer gets about 10% increase in gas mileage. That's a big savings.
Yeah.
And by cutting down friction and drag, for every 10 degrees you cut down the friction and drag, doubles the life of the engine. So by having the engine run cooler, it makes it last longer. Some people like the benefit of the range of the AMSOIL. AMSOIL's flash point is 425 degrees, and it pours at 50 below zero.
Wow.
If you ever tried petroleum oil when it's 10 below, it turns to honey. And in the summertime, petroleum oil thins out, and once it thins out, that's when it starts breaking down. So AMSOIL's an all-season oil, can give you better gas mileage, longer engine life, less maintenance. It ends up being cheaper over a year's time running AMSOIL than it is petroleum oils.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And AMSOIL is available for pretty much any motorized vehicle, anything from lawn equipment, cars, trucks, boats, ATVs, motorcycles, snowmobiles.
Yep. And a lot of people phone me up and say, well, what's the benefit of our gear lube? Exactly what I told you about the engine oil. It pours in cold weather, it runs cooler, makes the equipment last longer. And they say, well, what's the benefit of the small engine? Same thing. Makes the engine run cooler, last longer, better performance. So it saves on all the applications that AMSOIL has available.
Wonderful. So yeah, let's talk now. Hopefully this has convinced people to think about maybe joining us in the AMSOIL experience. Let's talk about some of the discounts and free shipping and how that all happens. I'm going to pop a graphic on the screen. And yeah, by all means, if you want to talk people through how this preferred customer program works.
AMSOIL has a number of different programs. One of our main ones is a catalog customer, where somebody can order directly out of our catalog. If they order out of the catalog, they order $100 worth, AMSOIL will ship it right to their house. But our best program is our preferred customer. For only $10 for 6 months, you become a preferred customer, you save 25% on all the product. You order $100 worth, they're going to give you free shipping. You don't have to order a whole case. You can mix and match. Say you want 4 bottles of small engine, 7 bottles of 5W30, and a couple of gear loops. You can mix and match. You can order 1 bottle at a time if you want. There's no minimums, no maximums. By being a preferred customer, you save over 25% on all the products you're going to buy. AMSOIL sends you extra gifts, a $5 gift certificate on your birthday, $5 when you renew your account, and stuff like that. So it's a good way to save on some of the products you want to buy.
For sure. Yeah, it's an incredible value. And this is the deepest level of discount that anyone can get when ordering AMSOIL. Is that correct?
It is.
Wonderful. So let's take people through the step-by-step experience of placing an AMSOIL order. Then that would include signing up for the preferred customer preferred customer program, so they can receive those deepest levels of discount. So let's go to the website. This is what the website's going to look like. These are some screenshots. Once you go to amsoil.com, there's a link in the description, or you can just type that into a browser, amsoil.com. This is the page you land on. At the upper corner of the page there, you see how I've circled in red. That is the link to click, the Join Now link. That will take you to the Preferred Customer Program page, where you can take advantage of all these discounts and free shipping and everything that we've just been talking about. This is what that page looks like. In the lower right, you're going to click Join Now. This will pop up. You select the duration you'd like, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, and click Add to Cart. Now, once this pop-up goes away, you'll be back on the main page. And the upper left, you'll see where I've got that red arrow. It says shop. Now you can start shopping for products, and on your very first order, you're going to get these discounts and the free shipping as long as it's over $100. You'll get all of these benefits right away. So once you click shop, it's going to take you to the product page. There's different types of oils, lubricants, so on and so forth. For the benefit of this exercise we're doing now, I'm just going to click motor oil. It shows different types of motor oil. Let's click gasoline. Now this takes us to an item. It's their synthetic motor oil. And you can see the item there, and there's choices for different viscosities. But take a look at the price. Let's take a closer look. Let's zoom in. But if you've joined the preferred customer program first, you're going to automatically get the deepest levels of discount. That's what we're looking at here. You're saving $3.80 on that quart of oil. Instead of paying $16.29, you're now paying $12.49 for that quart of oil. That is the deepest level of discount you can possibly get. And then you just add the quantity that you'd like. You select any other items that you're thinking about, add them to the cart. And once you click add to cart for the final time, you're going to see this come up at the top of the screen. It's going to show your items and your the total that you're at so far. Pardon me. And then you just click view cart in the upper right, and that'll take you to your cart. Take a close look here at the upper right. That blue box shows that you're getting free shipping. You're eligible for free shipping on this order because it's over $100. That little yellow box shows that you've got the preferred customer membership on your order that gives you the deepest levels of discounts for the next 6 to 12 months. And then below that, you've got the items that have been selected. For the exercise here, I selected 9 quarts of this signature series, but that brings us up over $100 for the free shipping. We're saving $34.20. And if you're ready to finish, you click checkout now, and that takes you to this screen here. If you haven't signed up with an AMSOIL account at this point, just click in the lower right to create an account, create a new account. It's going to ask you for some basic information, name and those types of things. Now let's take a closer look. You'll see this gray shaded box. This is a very important box. This is going to ask you if someone has referred you to AMSOIL. And if so, please enter my name. My name is Mike LaPierre. It's spelled right there on the screen for the correct spelling. And also the referral number, 304-555-94. That's how you make sure that Rob and I get credit for this. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I have signed up for AMSOIL under Rob. So when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. So if you enjoy these podcasts that we're doing, this is a wonderful way to support the podcast, because when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. And the commissions I make go directly toward offsetting the cost of doing these podcasts. So I thank you in advance for that, for using my referral number. I very much appreciate it. And once you've done that, you just go into the next screen to enter your payment information, and you're done. Now, once you've placed your order that's over $100, and that order includes your AMSOIL preferred customer program, you are now eligible to get a free DVD from myself. Now, this is going to be either a muscle car DVD or a vintage snowmobile DVD. Use the email address on the screen, wkspodcasts@gmail.com. Send me an email. Let me know which DVD you would like me to send you, the muscle car or the vintage snowmobile DVD, and I'll get that right out to you. As you're typing in that email, in the subject line, be sure and type in capital letters free DVD requests, so it stands out as I'm checking my email, and we'll get that right out to you. So I guess the last thing, Rob, that we wanted to talk about is if someone is considering AMSOIL as a business opportunity.
Yes. If anybody has a retail or a commercial account and they would like to buy directly from AMSOIL, just send Mike a line. He'll show you how to set up, and you can buy directly from AMSOIL. But if you are interested in starting your own part-time business, a part-time business that can grow into a full-time income, Mike and I will show you the AMSOIL marketing plan. AMSOIL has a large selection of products that cover almost every application. So it doesn't matter if you're into snowmobile, boating, or ATVing, or hot rods. We have an oil for every application. It's a fun type business. I really enjoy doing. Where else can I go and have fun and make money doing it? And Mike and I are here to help you all the way along. If you need any help on how to promote or to find new accounts, we're here to help you.
For sure. So when you sign up under that number, this 304-555-94, you're getting Rob and I as a team. Now, Rob has been doing AMSOIL for 40 years. Can you believe that? 40 years. So he knows every aspect of this business, and he knows all of the ins and outs of the products. So he'll be able to help you with any kind of product questions or any kind of questions to show you the different business models that you can do with AMSOIL. And then the other thing that you get when you sign up under me is I've got a strong background in social media. So if you need some coaching on how to generate AMSOIL leads using Facebook and YouTube, I'm happy to coach you with that when you sign up under Rob and I. You get both of us as a team to help you, to coach you, to support you, whatever you need to get you off and running with this business and having fun with it. Like Rob said, it's an enormous amount of fun. If you're like Rob and I and you enjoy going to any kind of boat shows, car shows, motorcycle shows, snowmobile shows, anything with a motor, you like going to those shows, those events, those races, this is a great way to turn that into a income opportunity for you.
Yes. And just by wearing my AMSOIL hat at one of these events, people come up and ask me about AMSOIL. People don't know where to buy it, and I'm there to help them, show them where they can buy the product.
Perfect. Well, cool. Well, this is great. Any final thoughts, Rob, before we wrap it up?
AMSO's a fun business. AMSO's been around since 1968. You know, it was the first synthetic oil to be AI approved.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's very early in the game too, isn't it?
Yes.
For sure. Well, good. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for viewing. Hopefully, we've gotten you excited as we are about the AMSOIL products. We'd love it if you could join us either as someone who uses the AMSOIL products or to join the AMSOIL team as a business opportunity. And we thank you so much for viewing. Have a great day.
You have a good day.